Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to another inspiring edition of this broadcast known as Forest Face of Reality Expository Series Teachings. We are delving into a series this time around, and we will be talking about the world class speaker. A world class speaker. Typically, a world class speaker is a public speaker who is able to communicate effectively across the cultural divide, across the race divide, across the religious divide, across the intellectual divide. Now, what this means is that irrespective of where you find yourself, if you were given an opportunity to talk, you will be able to communicate and people will understand you and give you the required feedback from that presentation. Remember, you can talk without communicating and you can communicate without talking. So, what does it take to become a world class speaker? I will present to you 7 key principles that will help you to perfect your elocution so that you can be fantastic any day, anytime, if given the opportunity to express yourself in public. Public speaking is an art that is almost as old as time. And as the years go by, we realize that many people are steadily earning an income from public speaking. You have no idea how much money some people are making just because they are prolific at the art of oratory. So these 7 principles will help you to become a world-class speaker. The first one is please take time to invest in building the public speaker in you. It will require that you should read books on public speaking. I recommend the book by Dale Carnegie on effective public speaking. It's almost like a public speaking Bible. It will also require that you sit down and learn from the best. There are people who are leading in the industry when it comes to public speaking. Identify them. You can follow them virtually or you can follow them in person. You can sign up for mentorship. You can sign up for coaching just so that you become better. And of course, you cannot learn public speaking just by listening to other people speak. You have to practice, which takes us to the second key. If you're going to be a prolific public speaker, a world-class public speaker, then you must practice. I'm not talking about practicing in your sleep. I'm talking about practicing in actual situations, in actual everyday circumstances. And you can practice in front of your mirror. Yes, you can practice before a live audience, but again, it is important for you to learn that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. It must not be a big step. So you can begin from your family. You can begin from maybe you have a youth group. You can ask for, 5 minutes, 10 minutes to present something in your youth group. You can ask for the opportunity to present an inspirational talk to your colleagues. They may be 5, they may be 10, they may be 15, they may be 20. But you cannot become an effective public speaker if you do all of your public speaking in your head. So the second principle that will help you to do well in public speaking is practice. The third one is attend events. Attend events. You see, for you to become a good speaker, you have to first of all become a good listener. You have to listen to other people speak. Now, the more you follow other public speakers, whether in person or virtually, the more you can also perfect your skills in public speaking. How many events have you attended this year? How many events do you plan to attend before the year falls up? These events can be virtual events. These events can be events that you attend in person. But it is so key in helping you become a prolific speaker. The next thing, the fourth key, is learn about cultures. Learn about different cultures. If you are invited to speak in a particular culture that is outside your own cultural context, it becomes important for you to look up some things on the internet, the peculiarities of that particular culture. If you're going to do well in that culture, you must know what is acceptable and what is taboo in that culture when it comes to public speaking. Even when it comes to dressing, because dressing is part of your message. You can literally add weight to your message by the way you show up, And I mean, there is something about the first impression. Ever before you open your mouth to talk, people notice the way you are dressed. So dressing becomes very important. And it's actually one of those cultural dynamics. It's one of those cultural details that you cannot afford to take for granted. Another thing that you will need to be able to do well as a public speaker, to be prolific, is become a reader. That is principle number 5. Become a voracious reader. A voracious reader. You cannot build your vocabulary if you only use words that you learned so many years ago. So to expand on your vocabulary, you need to read new books. You need to read more books. But don't just read, study. And as you study, take note of new words, write them down, find out what they mean, and incorporate them into your conversations, incorporate them into your write-ups, so that you can be able to improve on your communication. And talking about write-ups, the last principle that you need, or the last but one principle that you need, is become a content creator. There is a close relationship between becoming a speaker and becoming a content creator. Except you want to leverage on the material and ideas of other people, which, by the way, will cause you to come across as a speaker who is not original. If you are going to come across as an original speaker, then it is compulsory. It's a matter of principle for you to engage yourself in content creation. Create your own content. If there is one thing I do on my WhatsApp status, a lot of the times, it is content creation. You should be able to sit down and, come up with interesting ideas. Now, I believe that we don't have new ideas. We only have new perspectives to existing ideas. So there is nothing you are really bringing to the table as a speaker that is new. You are only adding a fresh perspective to existing ideas. Another thing that you bring to the table that is probably new when it comes to presentations is the examples, your own lived experiences. Other than that, there is no such thing as an idea that is new under the sun. There is nothing you will think about that nobody has ever thought about. That is a reality. And that's why you can afford to be humble even as a speaker. Another thing that you will need if you're going to be a world-class speaker is get interested in feedback. That's the last principle. Demand for feedback. You need feedback if you are going to do well. Many people are scared of feedback. Negative feedback is better than no feedback. If you're going to do well as a speaker, you need feedback, my brother. You need feedback, my sister. When you talk to any group of people, take time to find out, how did I perform? Did I meet your expectations? What were your impressions about my presentation? Are there areas where I can improve? Are there loopholes in my presentation? Do you think I could do better? What are the suggestions that you have for me so that I can do better the next time? The whole idea is that every speaker, whether you are a speaker in the making, you are a speaker in training, or you are a speaker who is already prolific, you are actually a work in progress. None of us has their act all figured out. Everyone is learning. Excellence is a result of corrected errors. You make errors and then you correct yourself. If you are afraid to make mistakes, you will never make anything. You will never create anything. So yes, my encouragement to you is that you should consider perfecting your skills in oratory. Not just because it pays these days, but also because you could actually increase your level of impact just by learning the art of effective communication. I hope you have learned something from this presentation, and I remain your brother and friend, George Charisma, a leadership coach. Feel free to drop your questions and concerns and your feedback in the comment section. And yes, if you're coming to my channel for the first time, I encourage you to to subscribe to this channel. And if you are even a returning viewer who has not yet subscribed, please do well to subscribe and also click on the notification icon. I look forward to hearing from you. And yes, God bless you and have a wonderful day.